All right, y'all. So by request, I pulled up a few problems from your book and from your homework for us to look at and work on. So this is applications of percent 7.3, I believe, is a 7.3 problem set. I'm going to do a few from, I'm going to do one from 7.3, one from 7.4, and one from 7.5. So let me scroll down. I'm going to do number 46. So let's look at number 46. I'm going to work it out step by step with the calculator. All right, a newspaper advertisement offers a $4,000 used car for nothing down and 36 easy monthly payments of $141.62. What is the simple interest rate? So let me flip back over. Let me write down my information first. Let's see, $4,000 for a used car, 36 months, and we paid $141.62. And we want to know what R is. All right, so what I'm information. Give you a minute to write it down as well. So it said simple interest, and we can either use I equals PRT or A equals P plus I, which is P plus PRT. All right, I'm gonna give you a minute to kind of write those down. I'm gonna explain these. This is on your formula sheet, and I believe this is on your formula sheet. This is not. Notice all I did is I changed out my I right here, and I plugged in PRT. That's all I did. I just changed my I to a PRT instead of keeping them separate. I put them together. So let's remember, I equals your amount of money of interest. How much over did you pay them back, or how much over did you get back from putting in? That's interest. A is how much did you get back, or how much did they charge you extra, plus what did you put in? So A is all together in the end. A is all together in the end, the principal, what you paid or what you financed, plus what you paid in fees or what they paid you in fees. And then interest is how much over did they pay. So just how much over did they pay. So not all together, but just how much over did they pay. So let's figure out what we really want. We really want this R right here. So this doesn't really have R in it. So let's use this one. So we know that our principal is $4,000. Is how much we actually wanted to. We got financed. Now, if we had a down payment, we would subtract the down payment right here. If we had down payment, it would be subtracted right here, and this would be how much we're financing, how much we're borrowing. So we're borrowing $4,000. Our rate is what we're trying to find. Our time, 36 divided by 12. Why? Why are we doing that? Well, anytime we're dealing with I equals PRT, the time has to be in years. They gave us months. That's how many payments we made, but we don't need how many payments we made. We need how much time was spent. So that was 3 years. So time was 3 years. So over 3 years, we borrowed $4,000, trying to figure out what the rate was. And then for our I, here's how we're going to figure out what I is. Interest is what we paid over, right? Well, we can figure out how much we pay them back. We borrowed $4,000. But for 36 months, we paid them $141.62 for 36 months or 36 payments. We had that many payments, and that was our payment every single month. So don't multiply this by 3. This is how many payments you made. Not the time, but how many payments you made. So that 36 kind of represents 2 things. How many payments we made and the amount of time. And we have to put it in its rightful place. Okay, so 36 times 141.62. Remember, we only borrowed $4,000, but we ended up paying them back $5,098.32. And this is money, so I want to keep it in terms of money. That's how much we paid them, but that's how much we actually borrowed. So to get our interest, we're going to take how much we pay them back minus how much we actually borrowed. And remember, if you have a down payment, it helps bring down how much you're going to finance. That's a great thing. But we didn't put anything down. So I'm taking that $5,098.32 minus the $4,000 we only borrowed. So interest is $1,098.32. That's how much we actually paid them in fees. So I'm going to say it one more time and then go back and rewind this if you need to. So principals, how much we borrowed or how much we financed. Rates, what we're trying to find. Time was in 3 years because we're dealing with interest, not payments, but interest. And then however much we pay them over is an actual amount of interest. And I has to be money. It's not going to be a percentage. It's not going to be a fraction. It should be money. So let's put this all together. The I, or interest, that was paid equals our principal, which is how much we borrowed in the beginning, times our rate, which we don't know, so trying to find, times 3. T should be here, not 3. T, 3. So they're asking us what the rate is. They can ask us what the time is. They can ask us what the principal. Well, no, they can't ask us the principal. They ask us the rate or the time. We need the principal to know, what our interest is. So let's finish this out. 1,098. Now I have an equation. 4,000 times 3 is 12,000, or have an equation. So I had 2 numbers I can multiply together. That's why I multiplied them. Now I still need to get R by itself. This is multiplication, so the only way I can split this is to divide. So 1098.32 divided by 12,000. R equals 0.91, no, 0. It's a glare. 0.0091. 5. But rate, we normally give it a whole number and a decimal. That's a small, hold on, let me make sure. 298 point. Just checking my math. 12,000. Okay. Must have missed a 0. That makes more sense. Oh, well, that's a really low rate. Go get me a car. But I messed the decimal. There we go. So this is 9.2. Notice I didn't round here. I wrote down a whole bunch of numbers and then I rounded. 9.2%. So I wrote down numbers without rounding and then I rounded to the nearest tenth. So that's how you work out a problem when they're asking you to find simple interest, or simple interest rate, or the time. Well, normally interest rate, yeah. Um, when they give you an amount of how much you're purchasing and how much you actually pay them in payments. So not only can you find A by adding principal and interest, you can find A by multiplying the number of payments in times your monthly payment. Yeah, I think it's in. Yeah. All right, so let's click over to the next one. 7.4. So let me click here. And this is your actual book, your ebook. On problem set 7.4. And you can practice these. See how it gives you the answer if you're working on them. All right, I'm going down to number 37, 38, and 39. So this is the credit card payment part. Okay, so assume it takes 10 days for a payment to be received and recorded, and that the month is 30 days long. So we're going to do 37, 38, and 39 because they're all the same number. So we have a balance of $500. I'm just writing this down on the paper so I can flip over. Rate of 20%. And payment of $50. So you realize I don't have my glasses, so I hope I'm reading this right. Okay. So here we go. So first we're going to do the previous balance method. Previous balance method. Should be at a whiteout. So I need that old school whiteout. Previous balance method. I'm going to put this. So with the previous balance method, we just look at the previous balance and use that as our P. Okay, so I equals, because we're talking about credit card interest, PRT, which is going to be 500 times 20% times 1/12. Credit card payments are monthly. Since we're dealing with interest, we have to still make it in terms of a year. So one part of the year is 1/12 for credit card. 500 times 20% times 1/12. Now notice I didn't do ABC. I didn't do ABC because I need this as a decimal. This will make it a decimal. ABC will make it a fraction. I need it in terms of money. So interest is equal to $8.33. We're working with the previous balance method. Now let's work with the adjusted, I believe it's adjusted balance method. P is equal to the previous balance minus your payments or credits. So previous balance minus payments. So here they don't care how much you could have paid it off. They're still going to charge you interest because you had a balance last month. Here they're looking at, okay, what did you have? Do you have any payments? Okay, we're going to drop your principal down so to help you out a little bit. So for this one, I equals PRT. So our P is going to be 500 minus 50. And you could probably do this in your head. Mentally. Once you get comfortable with doing these. So I'm putting the same thing in. I'm going to kind of cheat for this one. See, this cheat, I love this little cheat calculator. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up, and it lets me write over my last thing. I hit that up button just once. It goes up and lets me just write over what I had in there last time instead of doing all over again. I like to cheat on some stuff, not everything. Okay, not everything. All right, so this is 7.5, but remember we need to put this in terms of money. So $7.50. So that is the adjusted balance method. Adjusted balance, they will take into account the payment you have. Now let's look at the beast. The average daily balance method, the one that everybody loathes. Now, all questions don't have this average daily balance method, so don't make it hard unless it has to be hard. Now, this one is a combination of the last two. It's a combination of this and this. So your P will be for 10 days is going to be your previous balance method. Previous balance. For 20 days, so it takes 10 days for them to get it, process it, and then the next day you'll see the balance. So that's why the 10 days was important in those directions. So it took 10 days for them to get it, process it, let it go through overnight, and then it updated on day 11. So 11 through 30 here. So this is the previous balance, or the balance, I should say. So the balance minus payment. That's what maybe I should have done. So previous balance minus the payment, and then you're going to divide it by 30. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. So for 10 days, the balance was $500 because that was our balance, previous balance. For 20 days, our balance was $450. The 500 minus the payment. We divide that by 30. And then we multiply by 20%. times 30 over 365. So remember, we broke this down into days now. So since we broke it down into days, we have to break this year down into days. So interest, I equals PRT, deals with years. Even if it's a part of a year, it deals with years. Let's put this in the calculator. This is the hard part. This is probably what's getting a lot of you all put it in the calculator. So let me slow down, pause, shake off all your doubt. And let's get this. All right, so 10 times 500 plus 20 times 450. And I'm going to hit enter. Ten times 500 plus 20 times 450. You can put in parentheses like I do here. I forgot. Divided by, man, hold on, I gotta do it all over again. Because what happens is if you don't clear it like I just did, it will save your last answer and just keep going. So divided by, see that last answer, divided by 30, enter. So every time I do a new thing, I don't want to get it mixed up, times 20%, enter. And you could have put the fraction in there now. I forgot since it's like that. Times, I hope I hit the times what I did, times 30 over 365. Remember, we want to use the division button and not the ABC button because we want this in terms of money. And this is $7.67. So a lot of you all, I think, were getting this, but it was that calculator part that was getting you. So hopefully that part helped. All right, so next or a last one from 7.5. So I'm going to tell you exactly what timeline this is on. So if you only need like this one, I'll tell you what time to click on to get to it. All right, so 7.5 problem set. Number 34. Let me flip over. So I'm going back to my table. And to get to this, this is your ebook, your electronic book. That's the full book right there if you want to scroll through the whole thing. But I just wanted to go to chapter 7. 7.5 problem set, number 34. I'm going to look at the directions first. Oh, yeah, this is the compounding problems. So I want to make sure I go over this with you all. So let me write down my information. So 7.5, number 34. We have $3,450 at 4.3% compounded quarterly for 8 years. So I wrote down all my information. Now the book has a different formula than we have on our formula sheet. We just think it's better if you keep it in this format, so that way you don't have too many, because they made this one letter and then you had to break it down to 2 letters. I'll just make it 1 letter. So we made it like this. All right. So let's stick in all of our information. We want to find the future value. So you could find P with this. They may give you the future value and they want to know, what was it 8 years ago. You would find P if you were trying to find out what you started with. But we're trying to figure out what will you get at the end of um, 8 years. All right, so we have P as our starting point, our principal. 1 plus 4.3% over N is how many times a year is compounded. T is for how many years. So N is how many times a year, and it tells you compounded quarterly. So 4 times a year for quarterly. And this is the same N that you're going to multiply with your time. So time is still in years. This is how many times per year. How many years versus how many times per year. You need to write that down. How many years? How many times per year? Okay, so here's a little trick I use for this because the calculator is a little weird with this. I multiply these numbers first and make that one number. Because what happens is if you don't put it in right, it will take it to the fourth power and multiply your whole answer times 8. And that's probably an issue you're having with your calculator. So I'm going to put it in just like I see it with this one. And then I'm going to do the problem as if you have that cheap calculator that we told you not to get. I'm going to show you how to actually put that in. So 3450 parentheses. Notice the formula had parentheses. I'm putting parentheses. 1 plus 4.3% divided by 4. I put fractions in the calculator around this. I don't think it matters, but I just do just to be safe. Caret button. Remember, that's your exponent. 32. A lot of you all knew how to set this up. It's just that calculator part. $4,857.57. All right, so if you have that calculator that doesn't have this, it just has one line. You have that cheap calculator. I'm gonna go over this one time, and hopefully this will encourage you to get one of the. Well, this is a cheap calculator too, but those cheaper ones, like your phone, that you should not be using. Let me show you how to put this in the calculator. So you have to work your way inside out. You have to start with your percent. You probably don't have a percent button, so you have to change it yourself. Divided by 4. This is for those who don't have this calculator. Divided by 4. Enter. Then we're going to add the 1. So it's like we're doing, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We're doing the parentheses first. So this fraction, and add 1. Then we're going to take it to the 32nd power. So parentheses, exponent, multiplication, times 3450. It's more work. So I encourage you to get this calculator because you can put it in all at one time, just like I saw it on my paper. You put it in all at one time. All right, hope this helps. If you have any more requests, please let me know.